Hi, I'm John, and this week we have something a little different to take a look at. So I'm going to head over to my friend Seth's house, and we'll do it together. All right, so here's what we're looking at today. On the left, we have a wheel set rack with assorted wheel sets. And then on the right, we have two different packs of wheel set 30 packs. These come from Class 1 Model Works. The rack with an assortment goes for $59.99, and it comes in either a 50-foot or 60-foot version that will fit onto the respectively sized flat cars. And then the wheel sets on the right side are 30 packs that go for $45.99, and they have a whole bunch of different styles. So your best bet would be to go to Class 1 Model Works website and see if they have what you need. Here's a look at the 60-foot wheel rack in place, and I've loaded it with all the wheel sets that it comes with here. On the far left, we have the 36-inch wheel sets. It has actually different types of wheel sets in this set of wheel sets. I didn't, this is funny, Seth, because when I see wheel sets, I'm like, oh, they're wheels. Well, there's such a thing as a Brenco, Timken, and Timken 3. They're different
types of roller bearings.
Right? Different types of bearings. I didn't know that. So you could actually, if you wanted to, you could become a wheel set foamer.
You could.
Know all about this stuff. Anyway, these are the 36-inch ones. These are the 33-inch ones over here. And then these are the 28-inch wheel sets that it comes with. And just for the record, it does come with 3 Brenco 6, 2 Timken, and 3 Timken 3 on the 36-inchers. On the 28-inchers, it comes with 2 each of the Brenco 6. And I think you can tell from looking at the ends of the end caps here to know which one is which. And 1 each of Timken and Timken 3 bearing types, right, in this area here, the 28-inchers. And then the 33-inchers on the far right comes with 2 each of the Brenco 6, and then 1 each of the Timken and Timken 3 bearing types. They also sell these wheel sets in packs of their own, which I showed a minute ago, like this, which we'll look at those in a minute. The first thing I'm struck by on this is I've seen guys with layouts just put model wheel sets out, and they have pointed bearings because that's what fits into the model trucks. These are much more realistic because they look like flat bearings, like real ones, right? Because real trains do not use those pointed bearings that our models roll on. I mean, it's an obvious thing, really, but...
Also, the tread width is correct.
Right.
They're even smaller than the semi-scale Code 88 ones, which most of us don't use because they don't work that well with commercial track work. Mm-hmm. So without going to a great deal of trouble of going to, Proto 87, you wouldn't normally see wheels this fine on a model railroad. But as a load where they're exposed and everybody can see them, these look correct. So these are just, like everything else Class 1 does, amazing attention to detail.
Yeah, they definitely
are. I mean, Mike and Steve just, are really committed to doing a first-class job. They are amazing modelers themselves, and, it's just so great that, they've taken that commitment to quality and prototype accuracy and, basically shared it with us.
Yeah. Something else I want to mention while we're looking at this is, I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but this is the 60-foot rack. And we'll show this on a flat car in a minute here, but I want to just turn it so people can get a better view of each side. So I've changed angles just so that you can see the differences in the ends of the end caps here. Each one of these different types has a different design on it, and that's how you can tell them apart. You'll notice sometimes on models that they have those blue end caps, and I found out from looking at their other sets that they sent me that the blue ones apparently are Brenco blue painted, at least in this case.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yep. Your days as a wheel set foamer are just starting, Seth.
Wow. Wow.
We have
I have
Steve
to bring my towel.
we have those guys at Class 1 to thank for it. But something else I wanted to point out is how cool the rack is, because something else I've seen people model are wheel sets on flat cars or whatever as loads, and they're just in a straight line, but they're always offset like this to save on space.
Right.
I've noticed that even storing them in yards, they put them offset like that so that they can save on space.
And this is an interesting design with the slots. I've seen wheel flats. I don't know whether people did it themselves or there was a kit at some point in the past where there were just a couple of sets of rails and the wheels are actually resting on the rails. But if you think about that in practice, they would be, subject to a lot of rolling back and forth, as trains stop and start. Whereas this slot design seems much more practical.
Yeah. And here's a look at it from the other angle. Just on spotlights, I always turn the model all the way around so you can see it. There's not really a lot of detail or prototype specific stuff to look at here because as they comment in their literature and on the website, these kind of things were just fabricated by whoever needed to ship these things. And so this is just one example of how it might be. And it's just an efficient model.
Yeah, it definitely looks like something the railroad would do in their shops. And, a little bit of weathering here and there, some wear, maybe a little bare metal, a little bit of rust to suggest it's been around for a while. And, a little grime. And boy, you've got a wonderful looking model there.
Yeah, something else I was going to mention about this is that when I was loading these, they're really light. And they're just kind of flopping around and falling off the table. And I'm like, fumble fingers, butterfingers.
Oh, I just thought that was you.
Well, it is. It is. But you mentioned, and I think it's a great idea, that if someone wanted to model, get this model, you could affix them in here with just a small dab of canopy glue. And I'd be inclined personally to glue them in and then weather them because seriously, they are so light that just handling these to weather them might cause me some problems.
Well, that's a problem, particularly if you use an airbrush. 20 pounds of pressure doesn't seem like a lot when you're trying to push acrylic paint through it, but it is enough to blow a light piece around. So, and again, the weathering is going to primarily come in from the top. So seems like that would work pretty well.
So here's an example of what it might look like on a flat car. Now, this is an articulated heavyweight flat car. Frankly, they wouldn't probably use this kind of car for this kind of load, but this is what we had available to show it with. And it gives you the idea, right? If you can just imagine that as a regular flat car, it looks good on there. And I would imagine that you'd probably want to add some chains or something to it because, they wouldn't just throw this on like this and roll it down the track. I think they would still secure the load and so that on the off chance that there's some kind of a derailment, you don't end up with a bunch of stuff rolling around. So what we've done here is I took a couple of the 33 diameter wheel sets out of the assorted pack that has Timken and Brenco. And those are on the left side. And then the two on the right side are from the 33-inch diameter Brenco blue painted, just to give you an idea of how good these things look up close. And again, to your point, Seth, the scaling on the tread and on the flange is so realistic. I mean, this is what they would look like on your trains if we were running true, Proto 87. So it's just really good. And the paint and markings on these things looks to be really crisp. The other thing I like about it is that they send them out or manufacture them as unweathered so that you can do whatever you want with them. Meaning, if you want to have a shipment of brand new trucks being sent to your railroad, you put them on shiny. Or if you wanted to send them off as scrap or, they're old wheel sets that are no longer needed, you can just weather the tar out of it and send it on its way on an old beat up flat car.
This is another example in a great series of loads that Class 1 has been offering. They've also done a series of containers for their well cars. And I think this is great, especially for modern modelers, that we now have some very detailed loads that build up into really eye-catching models. And they really help you tell a story with your layout. So you're running equipment in open loads, and it's not just, gee, that was a cool thing I saw somewhere, but it really allows you to, show the purpose of the railroad and what it's moving and why.
And in this case, it's something not only for car loads, but also for decoration on the layout. So,
sure.
I mean, other than that, I think you summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, and these loads are, quite suitable at team tracks, at unloading facilities, at industries. These wheels would make a great detail in a roundhouse or car shop scene. A little bit new, I guess, for a roundhouse, but you get the picture.
Yeah. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time.